Hey guys, what's going on? Today it is Juke from Juke Bleezy, and I have a quick little rant slash story type thing to tell you guys about. So Tuesday night I stayed up pretty late, probably till at least 2 or 3, and not that I'm not used to staying up that late. It's just I kept on staying up till 4 like consistently. So I slept in until like at least 8:30, like a long ass time. Um and 8:30 is when my first class of the day begins. So I wake up late, and I'm like an hour late to school. And this wouldn't be like a big deal, except my dad's like really big on me being like perfectly on time and all of that stuff, even though this is my first time being late. Right? So not a big deal, whatever. So I get to school after being yelled at by my dad or whatever, and honestly, like I didn't know like we had rules regarding this, but I go up to my first class of the day, which is like principles of business and finance or whatever, and I knock on the door, and he's just like, my teacher opens up the door, and he's just like, "Oh, nice of you to show up," and I'm like, "Sorry for being late." And this is really weird because he's usually a pretty nice guy, but um yeah, he's just like, "Nice of you to show up." So I'm like, okay, like whatever. And this guy just is like, "Okay, so where's your pass?" And I'm like, "Pass? What are you talking about?" He's like, "You have to go get a pass from the lower office." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know we had that." And he's like, "Well, you should." And I'm like, "Okay, well, I'm sorry, I didn't, like, whatever." And then he just rants to me for like 5 minutes about why we need like to follow rules and why we have rules for this type of stuff. And the entire time I'm just thinking, like, dude, are you joking me? Like, I'm sorry, I didn't know the inner workings of our school, you know what I mean? And so eventually I'm just like, okay, whatever, and I go and get a pass, and I come back up, and I think it's over. But no, motherfucker, it's not. Because I go and I sit down in my chair, and this guy, just for the rest of class, continues to talk about why we need to follow rules. And like I said, my classes are an hour and a half long, right? So I was only there for 30 minutes. Because I missed the first hour. Which means he spends the entire last half of class, or last, third of class or whatever, just kind of like complaining about why we need to follow the rules, and how in business, I like how he links it back to business to make it seem like it's totally not directed at me, but how in business we need to like, be on time, and how we need to be able to follow the rules and stuff and do stuff the normal way. Even though it's worth mentioning, some of the most successful people, like the guy who started Wendy's, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, have not done stuff the normal way. So the entire time I'm just sitting there like, are you joking me? And everybody knows who he's talking about, because there's only 2 other people in my class. But this is just like this stereotypical old rich guy who thinks he knows better than everyone else. And I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, like, I stayed up late and didn't get enough sleep, like, honestly. But at that point, I just, like, didn't feel like saying anything. Like, he was just completely, like, way too mad about it. And he's always late to school. Like, I probably wouldn't be this mad about it, but he's literally always late to school, like, every single day. So it was just frustrating, and I was like, ah. And then I'm late this morning, and he just gives me this look. You know what I mean? Like, the look your grandparents give you when you accidentally say "God damn it" in front of them. Except it's more like I had said "fuck you, I love Satan." And he just gave me this look. And I just looked at him. I sat down at my desk. I put in my headphones, and I just put my head down and ignored him for the rest of class. Because it was ridiculous, dude. This guy was on his, like, man period or something. I don't know. Luckily, tomorrow's our last day of school until the break, so, won't have to deal with him for, 4 or 5 days. But honestly, I think if there's anything you guys can take away from this story, it's really just that old people are just stay away from old people, dude. Especially old people from Florida who teach business classes. Okay, guys, until next time, this is Juke signing off, and remember to always keep it real cash.